I will take you places where you have never been.
It's a start.
I will show you things that you've never seen.
Beginning.
And I will see the life run out of you.
Long ago, on a cold, dark night, in this peaceful New England village, something happened. Something too terrifying to remember. Something too frightening to forget. Something that has remained a secret until now.
Is anyone else seeing things? Am I the only one having nightmares?
Universal Pictures presents Fred Astaire, Melvin Douglas, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., John Houseman, Ghost Story, from the terrifying best-selling novel by Peter Straub.
Who's this? He's found a picture of her. That's not possible.
The girl, the men, the evil, the silence.
Dad, I'm telling you, something happened to Tony. I think he may have been murdered.
The house, the fear, the nightmare, the vengeance, the terror, the truth.
Not now, Rick. Yes. Now, something's happening. Something terrible. I fear Laura was going to die. No, we must talk about it.
She's not the person you think she is.
Who are you? Oh, please, let that stop.
She's worried you have the wrong idea about
Everything is out of control.
No, please. Please let me talk about it.
Get away from her, Dave.
Who are you?
She's dangerous.
Listen to me, please.
Soon they will learn that they have never been forgiven. Ghost Story. The time has come to tell the tale.
And good morning, Monster fans. Welcome to day 13 of 13 Days of Monsters. Our 13th day, the unlucky number, seems apropos to do a ghost story. And that's what we have today, 1981's Ghost Story. This is a very, very good movie. I haven't seen it since probably 1981. And so I rented it yesterday because I've wanted to see it again. That's why I put it on my list. And boy, does it hold up. There are some genuine scares in this movie. We have A-list actors, in fact, Academy Award winners, doing their first horror movie, first and only, actually. I believe this is the last film for all of those guys. Fred Astaire, Melvin Douglas, Douglas Fairbanks Jr., and John Houseman. Although Houseman was in The Fog, so it wasn't his first horror movie. His scene was shot as an afterthought, to tie the movie up. But anyway, I hope you guys all did your homework and watched this movie because it's really fantastic. I love a good ghost story, and there's not a lot that have been done really, really, really well. The Haunting is one that's really creepy. The Uninvited is another one with Ray Milland that was done really well. And this one is really excellent. We open up in this New England town, and these men, obviously men of wealth and substance, are sitting around having brandies and telling ghost stories. It's part of their initiation. They do this. I don't know if they do it once a month or every day. I can't remember if they said. So we're introduced with a ghost story to this ghost story. And basically the story is about this ghost that haunts these two generations for a crime that they committed against this woman, causing her death. And so she comes back to exact her vengeance on them and on the family, particularly the sons of the one who specifically caused her death. There's some really good thrills in this. some great Dick Smith makeup effects. Look at that. That's a juicy ghost. There's not a lot of backstory to talk about with this movie. At least not a lot that I could dig up on. It was directed by John Irvin, who did the excellent Dogs of War film with Christopher Walken. He also did the horrible Raw Deal with not Sylvester Stallone, Arnold Schwarzenegger. So we're not going to hold that against him, are we? But yeah, this is really great. Let me see the folks here, if anybody in the have they seen it? Okay, Dr. Mask watched it yesterday. So you did your homework. Good man. Watched this last night, realized I had seen it years ago. Enjoyed it a second time. Good. Yeah, this thing, I don't know why this doesn't pop up more. I mean, it's hard to find. It rarely shows up on like TCM and stuff, because it's been decades since I've seen this movie, and yet I guess it's really one of those really greatly best kept secrets, you know. Well, Dr. Mess says he grew up near where the scene where the car was pulled from the lake was shot. Oh, that's cool. That's cool. You know what's interesting about this movie too is that when we meet the characters as old men, just like everybody, you know, they've gone on with their lives. They've found marginal success in their lives. But when we flash back to them in the era when they committed the crime, which would have been around like 1930, because I think they said it was 50 years since it happened. So it was like 1929, 1930-ish. These guys were the nerd culture of their era. The way they behave around the Alice Krieg. There's a Star Trek reference coming up because Alice Krieg was the Borg Queen in the first Star Trek Generations, Next Generation movie. So there you go. We have a Star Trek sighting. Anyway, she's great in this. She's really creepy and cold. But back to the nerd culture aspect of it, which I thought was kind of neat. You know, instead of making them like the hipsters of the day, you know, that F. Scott Fitzgerald types, these guys are really, you know, unsure teenagers around women. And part of that is what causes their downfall and the downfall of Alice Krieg's character. I thought that was an interesting and nice touch. You don't see that. The easy way would have been to make them, you know, the hipster, you know, F. Scott Fitzgerald types. But yeah, Alice Krieg is really great in this, and there's something about her accent and the way she delivers some of her lines when she gets really pissed off and she says, "Dance with me, you little toad." I remember that line from the first time I saw it, and then when I watched it last night, I knew it was coming. I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, that's right. That's where she said, 'Dance with me, you little toad.'" And the way she says it is hauntingly creepy and she sort of says like an F you to the guy too. But good stuff. So I hope, like I said, you watch this. I rented it. That's what I did. It was well worth the $3.99. So good morning, everybody. Devilfly says, "Tell me a story." Yeah, that's how we open. Tell me a story. Raven Saver is here. JP Roca asks, "What's good?" Hyper Kaiju is here. We've got all our guys here. The Normie Nerd. Devil Flyer says set in the 20s or 30s. Yeah, I suspect, as I said, it's like late 20s, early 30s, because they said it was 50 years. The movie was released in 1981, probably shot in 1980, so maybe 1930. Man of War 665 says, Hail amigos. Hans Roger says, good day. I wonder if Hans is down in the jail known as Australia. Devil Flyer. Jasper Plan 9 is here. Hello. This is the first live one he's caught this year. Okay, Jasper. Well, glad you made it. Okay. Billy Glasby is here. Hello. Striplin Vaughn. I'd never watch it, but it looks good. Why would you never watch it? Is it too scary, or what's the reason that you'd never watch it? Because it is good. Sean Thompson suggests reading the book. I always suggest reading the book, even if it's like my favorite movies. I love to read the book and see the author's true intent. Just like The Thing from Another World, as everybody knows, it's my favorite one. Reading John Campbell's book, Who Goes There, really adds a different context. It doesn't ruin the movie by any means, or any of the iterations of the movie, but it just gives you a different perspective. It gives you the author's true perspective. And in some cases, let's face it, like in the case of Frankenstein, the Universal Monsters movie is much better than the book. I can watch the movie a million times. I have yet to get through the book. Double Flyer says, make it up. Just fake it, Graham. Hey, you work with what you got. Jasper wants to see this flick. Yeah, since you weren't on yesterday, Jasper, you can rent this for $3.99 on Amazon Prime. You can also rent it on YouTube. Probably the same price. Definitely worth it. Prater 7 says, good morning. Good morning. Dr. Mass says, Raw Deal has one of my favorite Arnold quotes. You shouldn't drink and bake. Oh my God. That sounds horrible. Monster Fan says, as usual, the book is better and has a very high literary quality. Yeah, I haven't read the Peter Straub book in this case. But I understand that in the book, the ghost is trying to punish the entire town as well, whereas the movie focused on these individuals. But in the book, it's sort of a wider revenge tale, Seen it years ago. I think it's because of the generic name. I like the generic name because nobody else has used it. It just sucks me right in. It's called Ghost Story. What is it? It's a ghost story. Perfect. Pedro Ang is here. Good morning. Hans Rogers says some gems are out there. Forgotten Pearls. Haven't seen this one, I think. Well, for $3.99, this could be yours to watch. Jasper saw 15 minutes of this in the theater with my parents. We snuck in after watching another movie across the hall. Who hasn't done that? Dr. Mask agrees that Alex Krieg has such penetrating eyes and goes from sexy to evil in a breath. Yeah, she does. She's very young in this. She's only in like 26, 27, something like that. But she's very, very pretty and very commanding on the screen. Can't take your eyes off of her. Live long and prosper to you, Devil Flyer. Where can we find this? On Amazon Prime and YouTube. Liquid Blake says, all these movies have been a lot of fun. Well, good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying them. This is my favorite time of the year. I love these things. St. Ravage says, hail to the chat and good morning, Graham. Thank you and good morning. Guys, anybody's new to this channel who's popping in here, or if you're watching this in repeat for the first time, please hit like and subscribe to my channel. It's free. It will give you notifications of shows that are coming up, and you don't want to miss that. And the likes and the subscriptions help me and the channel grow and monetize. Dr. Mass says Craig Wasson was also in an episode of Deep Space Nine. He's really good in this. He was one of those faces you'd see throughout the 80s. And you're like, where did I see that guy from? Never really kind of hit it big, but he's very effective in this movie. I really like him in this. He's working with, this other generation of A-listers, that practically ruled Hollywood at one time. It will make you lose your hair if you watch it, Graham. Too late. Frakoff Felger Karb is here. Good morning. Here's one. Sean Thompson says American Psycho, the movie, is better than the book. Happens. Oh, so this is why Strickland Vaughn doesn't want to watch it. I'm very good at suspension of disbelief. Sci-fi and monsters I can dismiss easier. This would give me nightmares years later. A good ghost story can do that. Well, JP Rook is also saying that it's $3.99 on the Apple Store too. I'm assuming that's a rental. $3.99. If it's not, buy it. That's a good price. Frankenstein is a nice, tidy watch at 75 minutes. One of the best. It's my favorite of the Universal Monsters and the Universal Monster movies. I watched it yesterday again. I love it. Karloff just owns that movie. And it doesn't even have a word. But his pantomime and his expressions, and it's just so great. Love it, love it, love it. I remember seeing Star Trek First Contact and thinking she's kind of both hot and really not at the same time. LOL. Yeah, when her head is floating down with all those wires attached to it. Hit that like button and subscribe. Buy my book, buy my book, buy my book. Yes, buy Alien Alamo. I've never heard of this movie. I'll have to watch it. As I said, it's sort of one of those best kept secrets. Devil Flyer says, Cecil scares me. Well, get in line. Cecil scares everybody. That's a horror movie waiting to be produced. Prater 7, 1981, the year of his birth. That was my first year at college. Liquid Blake says, Halloween in general is a great time of year, not just for the movies, but it does help. Okay, JP Roca says it's $15 to buy it. Sounds about right, between 12 and $15. So the rental is $3.99. Coffee got cold. St. Ravage, unfortunately, I'm on my way to work, but if you're still going when I get there, I'll jump back on. Otherwise, I'll catch the replay. Okay, that's fair enough. Catching the replay is good too. Devilfly, what can we expect for tomorrow? Answer, another early morning. Grr. Well, I don't know what time zone you're in, but it's not that early for Eastern. I mean, I set my alarm. I get up at 6:30, have a quick breakfast, and then I come down here by 7:30 and start gathering my assets and stuff like that for the show, thinking about, what I'm going to talk about and all that. And get my shit together. Predator 7 says he hadn't heard of this movie. Not usually big on ghosts or demons, at least, but may check this out still. Yeah, this is a really good one. But I watched this one on TV. High School to Cubert. Actually, 81, yeah. No, I didn't go high school to Cubert. I went 1 year at local community college from 80 to 81 because I graduated in June of 80. So 80, 81, I went to local community college, and from 81 to 82, I went to my first year of Cubert. 82, 83, I ran out of money, so I went to community college again. In 83, 84, I came back to Cubert's and ran out of money again. And then that was it. I was like, I got to get a job. So I didn't graduate. But it worked out. 38 years in the business. What did I take at community college? Art stuff? Yes. Yeah, I took all different kinds of art courses. Because I knew I wanted to go to Cubert's and I was saving up money for it. Dr. Mask wants to know if there's any news on Two-Fisted Manly Tales. Just that the scripts are in the artist's hands, and they're at they're in various stages of the process. I heard from Michael Golden yesterday. He's going to get me a cover sketch within the next few days, and so it's moving along. That's sort of a project that's on the back burner. While on the front burner is Alien Alamo, because I've got 9 pages left. If I finish this page today, I think it'll be 8 pages left to finish the story. So that's coming along really great. It's kind of like a funnel where, you got this wide opening when you start it, and now everything is funneling in because there's so many moving parts. But that's the fun of, doing these self-publishing things too, is, where you wear many hats, broadcaster, marketer, artist, art director, editor, all those different things. Any other big names you went to Cubert's with? Oh yeah. I went to school with Adam and Andy Kubert. Went to school with Bart Sears, Mark Pennington, Ron Wagner, Eric Schanauer, Lee Weeks. Yeah, we're all students together. So those 2 classes, the 81, 82 and 83, 84 classes that I was in, had some awesome talent that all went on to do great things. Frakoff Felger Carb is watching The Horror of Dracula earlier. Hammer was the best. Yeah, I'm not the biggest Hammer fan. But I do like some of their movies. Golden CG. See, it goes together. I didn't think of it that way. I've been thinking about going to a local college tech school for an art degree myself. Something like Kubert School is too far and too expensive for me at the moment. To be honest, if you're going to go to school, I wouldn't go for an art degree. You can, if you have the talent, you can build that on your own, by taking individual and local courses, without having to go to a school and get a degree in it. It was a mistake we made with one of our daughters, sending her to Savannah College of Art and Design, a very expensive school, with not a lot of good follow through. So art schools can be very expensive. I would say get a business degree and work on the art on the side, because you'll always use that. One of the problems with artists is that some of them are really bad businessmen, and it ends up biting them in the ass later on. Devil Flyer, local boy, Graham. Local as in where I live now, Western New York, or local as in Space Coast, Florida? So awesome that Michael Golden is working on Two-Fisted Manly Tales. Yeah, it is. I'm very excited. I've got David Williams working on a story too. Butch Geis. It's going to be killer. Let's see here. Come on, be like EVS and multitask. Campaign and draw at the same time. Who cares? The book will be delayed 5 years to be released. I'm a deadline guy, and it drives me crazy when I'm late for anything. It's just how I'm wired. Hammer not American enough for you? No, that isn't it. It's the sets look cheesy in a lot of them because they're so lit. It doesn't have the atmosphere or ambiance that, say, a Universal monster film has. I mean, it's got the blood and it's got the sex, and that's an upgrade. But as far as its visual look, I can't say that I'm a huge fan of it. Those castles look small and they look fake. Prayer 7 says, I appreciate your input on the art degree. Thanks very much. I've considered a business degree before, especially because I know nothing about it. Thanks a ton. Yeah, you can't go wrong with having a business degree. If I could do things over, I would do that. I would get a business degree and then work on the art on the side. Florida. Okay. Good taxes in Florida. Yeah, I know. Dr. Mask is encouraging his son to go to a trade school, but he's only 13. Nothing wrong with that. It's a problem. A lot of schools, all they do is push more school, more school, more school, but nobody's pushing trades. Some guys just, don't like going and sitting in classrooms. Other guys like working with their hands or working outdoors, and we need tradesmen. We need good craftsmen and mechanics and welders and carpenters and plumbers, and those guys make good money, and they don't go into debt for 40 years either with the ridiculous cost of college. How the hell do we get on this? We went from ghost story. Wow. Well, shit. If we're gonna diverge here, I'm gonna, because we get a lot of folks that watch this as a repeat. So I think we should show the trailer for Alien Alamo, because obviously if you're watching this live or watching it as a repeat, you're into sci-fi and horror. And this is my newest project. This is what it's all about, is self-publishing under Compass Comics and creating really great stories and entertainment. Like these kind of movies that we're talking about in the 31 Days of Monsters. So if you're watching this for the first time, here is the trailer for Alien Alamo. That's my homage to the Thing from Another World there, the burn through. There we go. Got to do a little pimping. I always forget that a lot of people watch this later on, and people that either haven't subscribed to the channel or aren't regulars, they're checking in and watching this. So I got to make sure I run that for those people that may be seeing it for the first time. I know a lot of you see it all the time because I'm constantly showing it, but this is part of the game. Okay, we had a bunch of comments come through here while we were running it. A couple people went to SCAD and both ended up regretting it. And in my opinion, they came out worse artists because they had not great teachers and stifled their natural ability. Yeah, my daughter went in for storyboards, and they don't support that discipline the way they do illustration and comics as far as placement goes, which is a shame. But as part of her education, she had to take a comics course, and I remember her showing me some of the process that she was doing. I'm like, why are you doing so many pre-drawing steps? It's like thumbnails, tight thumbnails to layouts to, it's like you're overdrawing everything. You're taking the energy out of your ideas. And she said that's what her teacher was teaching her how to do. I'm like, your teacher will never make a deadline if that's what he does. You got to get the idea down first, and you can there's different steps which you can develop it in, but you can't beat it to death and overthink it and overwork it. There's another panel to follow this. So if that one doesn't come out perfect, move on to the next one and get it done. So I just felt like they weren't teaching them, some good work ethic tricks, to move the story along and make sure that you hit deadlines. Comic books and cahoots. Any Kevin Maguire stories? Don't know the man. Never met him. Dr. Mask's son is hoping to go to college for baseball. We shall see. Awesome. Great. Get a scholarship. Get that education behind you for free if possible. Never know where we go. Well, that's true, but that's what I love about the chat is that, you know, it takes us down different roads, and it makes it a fun discussion. Dropping life lessons at no extra charge. This trailer never gets old. I think you guys should do a CG CD with all the music, although logistics may be a nightmare. Yeah, I think so too. Scribbling one. A real horror story. Modern schooling and debt. Make it stop. No, I'm not talking nightmares. I'm reminded of the calls I'll be taking later. He works for the Department of Education Loans Department, I guess. Paul says grandfather looks like Sam Elliott. He's based on Sam Elliott. And the other guy, the man with the beard, is based on John Krasinski. Well, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. Reverend Saber, very excited for Alien Alamo. Don't forget that special T-shirt. Yeah, the limited edition shirt, which is a really, really cool design, is only available during the campaign. And that shirt's coming down next Monday. So because I'm going to be putting orders in, so I need to know how many to order because it is limited edition. I'm not over ordering them. I mean, I'll have maybe a couple just in case somebody's damaged or the size is wrong or something like that. But it's going to be very, very limited, and it's coming down off the campaign on Monday. So if you're considering it, you know, you've got a few days to pull the trigger. So I suggest you get over to the site and get that. If you haven't backed it yet, back the comic and then add the shirt on as an add-on. Actually, I think you got to do the. I think it's set up if you get the shirt, you can add the comic as an add-on. So if you already bought the comic and want the shirt, you're already covered. Yeah, there's a truth bomb. American original art form with none of the respect like other places. Isn't that the truth? Considering the access to art instruction online nowadays, is there anything in particular you can think of that a student might miss if they don't have a traditional teacher, aside from feedback? Well, I mean, if you're at a good school with good placement, you're building relationships with people that are in the business. That's the hope. That's one of the things that I benefited from with the Kubert School, is that everybody that taught there worked in the business. They weren't just academics, you know, throwing out, you know, non-real world issue problems or deadlines and stuff like that. Everybody worked in it, and so, you know, you could make good connections to get into the business. So that, but you know what, the business has changed so much. It's hard to make any connections at all. For anybody, you can't just show up. You can't get into the comic companies, and why would you anyway? Why would you want to anyway? Yeah, they're producing crap. So yeah, there's a lot of information out there in the internet about how to sharpen your skills, and then, you know, how to apply them. You know, how to publish and do all that. Yeah, it's a lot of work, but It's a lot of work going to school too, and a lot of expense as well. I'm not poo-pooing education by any means. I'm saying get a good education, a dollar value, a good dollar value. Get on Twitter and start virtue signaling if you want to break in. Well, that's true. If you want to break into the current big two, all you need to do is virtue signal, because you won't be. It's not a meritocracy. It's not about how good you are. It's about if you believe in their groupthink. So just get on board the groupthink, and then you can get hired. You could be an editor, you could be a writer. Doesn't matter. Talent is optional. All right, gang. So I have on the list for tomorrow, Gamera, but I'm just not into that movie. I put that on after the fact because somebody was requesting it, and the more I keep thinking about it, the less I like that idea. So I think we're going to go with something a little freakier than that. In fact, we're going to go with Todd Browning's 1932 movie Freaks. This movie was so universally despised by critics and stuff, and thought it was filmed in such bad taste that it was banned in certain countries, and it was not shown in the United States until I think the 1970s. So I think that's what we're going to do. I haven't seen this movie. I remember watching and thinking, oh my God, how did this movie get made? It's sort of mean-spirited, but I think that'll make for a great discussion tomorrow. So here's your homework. Watch Freaks. It's on demand on TCM. So if you have cable or streaming and you get the TCM network, go to on demand and on demand. And you can watch it there for free. So that's your homework, my friends. Todd Browning's 1932 Freaks. And we shall catch you back here tomorrow to discuss it. It should be a lively one. Like I said, I haven't seen that in a long time, so I'm going to watch it with new eyes. So until then, my friends, we shall see you on day 14 for Freaks tomorrow. Have a great one. Bye-bye.